Pokemon Generation 10 is going to be the next huge Pokemon game to be released, and this game is going to be announced soon. It's going to be announced Pokemon Day 2026, literally at the end of February. So make sure to be prepared and stay tuned for that. But let's cover every single leak that we have so far for this game. We've had a ton of information and leaks be revealed about this game specifically, and when they do reveal this game, we will see a lot of different things that were in the leaks, and then we can kind of like judge the leaks and say, okay, this may still happen, this may not happen. We'll still get more leaks in the future, like definitely in upcoming months, upcoming weeks and stuff like that before the game actually officially drops. But for now, we have almost too many leaks. I'm serious, guys. Like, we have an absurd amount of information. We have stuff about like the name, the battle evolution gimmick, the region, the map. It's pretty interesting, very, very fascinating stuff. So right here, right now, let's cover every single Generation 10 leak that we currently have as of right now. Gaia K and Gaia N, you guys are going to find out why specifically it's called Gaia K and Gaia N in this video, because that was like the original code name, I guess you could say, for the games. First, this starts off with the titles, the upcoming games. I've showed you guys this a few times on the channel before, but this is literally the release schedule for Pokemon as a whole, which we have Gaia, that's Generation 10. This was Legends ZA, and I think this was the DLC, Senkaku right here. And then Sudachi, I don't actually remember what this was. Was this the Scarlet and Violet DLC? Anyways, that's not important. That already came out. We have Ringo, which is Legends 3, the Legends Galar 3. Legends Galar, the third Legends game. So Gen 10, the Gen 10 DLC, and then we have Legends Galar. And then we'll have Pokemon Seed, which is that huge game where we're going to be going through Gens 1 through 4 in one big game. It's not going to be like a remake, but it's still going to be like all those regions, but it's going to be one overall storyline. At least that's what it seems like it's going to be, which we also know that's going to be an MMO. So I don't think, as far as this entire like page I'm going to go over, I don't think it has any more information about the other games, but I figured I'd bring that up because it's actually awesome. Mega Oasis, Mega Turtle, and Synapse. And then Synapse, I do believe that is Generation 11. My memory's a little foggy on this, and then that must be the Gen 11 DLC, which is kind of actually insane to think about, like any sort of future generation coming out after Gen 10, because like, bro, we don't even have Gen 10 yet, but we will soon. In the game titles, we have Gaia K and Gaia N, which people theorize could be Kaze and Nami, which would be Wind and Wave. And believe it or not, guys, that actually is going to be the name of the game. At least as of like right now, the real Terra League information we have, the game literally will be Wind and Wave. We've seen some people say it could be Gale and Surge or something like that, or some sort of other name similar to Wind and Wave. I think it's going to be Wind and Wave. I think that's the coolest name. But you can see right here, like, that's literally just the test name right here for the games. And then the second wave of Terra League, which is the Terra League 2.0, the internal document surfaced that significantly strengthened the case for the Gen 10 titles being Wind and Wave, because in a document, they quite literally said Wind and Wave. You can see right here, Wind and Wave concept. Guys, you gotta tell me that's not legit, because that's crazy. Shoot, we got the actual name of the Gen 10 games. I can't wait to see it. And we will get the official reveal for Gen 10 soon for Pokemon Day 2026. It's coming up quickly, guys. It's gonna be here before any of us really know it. So stay tuned, stay prepared for that, because we are gonna be getting that official name drop. And here's some more documents. Wind and Wave. And essentially what this is talking about is a world designed to expand endlessly, which I'm not sure if that's still happening, but I think that was kind of like procedural generation, where it's like there will be smaller random islands that don't really like mean anything, but they're going to be uniquely kind of generated for everyone's game. Like I said, I don't know if that's still happening, because the thing with the Terra League is a lot of the stuff in the Terra League is gonna be changed. It's gonna be scrapped. There's things gonna be added, things removed, whatever. So we just kind of have a base borderline like knowledge of what this game is gonna be, and a lot of it's still gonna stay. Like, a lot of this stuff will actually be in the game. I like Winds and Waves better than the other ones. Same, I do too. What do you think the regional food will be for Gen 10? Galar had curry and Paldea had the sandwiches. Ooh, darn, I don't know. That's a good question. I never even thought about that. Guys, what do you think that the food would be for Generation 10? We are gonna have some sort of like weather system, wind and sea, natural phenomena. So there's gonna be a lot of like emphasis on the weather. Could be related to the battle evolution gimmick, which is kind of cool. Not sure on that though. Exploration driven gameplay across islands and open environments. So it's going to be pretty expansive, guys. The map is going to be pretty big. You can see like all of this. This is all inspiration. This is from the leaks. These are like real documents. This is a presentation just kind of like what they want the game to be like, kind of the inspiration of the game. You can see we have waves, we have waterfalls, a volcano, big islands, weather, like huge weather. You can see it's really, really windy. We can see an awesome forest. That's where like the Xenoblade Chronicles X kind of stuff comes in. Underwater right here, which we're going to talk about too. Ride Pokemon. You can see these people are riding on animals. Unfortunately, bad news about that, guys. The ride Pokemon is not going to happen anymore. It's going to be the Rotom Scooter. I've covered it, man. I'm not a fan of the Rotom Scooter because ride Pokemon simply just sound way cooler. Like being able to literally ride on a freaking Pokemon, like how this fool is riding on a dolphin or a camel. Like, are you kidding me? Or how this bird is riding this human. I mean, dude, that's type of stuff I'd want to see from this game. Not gonna happen, unfortunately. But it is gonna be open world still. I like the open world games, but I also like the OG kind of style, like the linear style. I like both, bro. I like both style of Pokemon games. I'm okay with either one. Seriously, like, I'm not mad if it's open world. I'm not mad if it's not open world. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit of both, open world and kind of like linear, but it will have MMO, and I hope that's not canceled. That's one of like the top four. That's a weird number to go. I'll say top five. Top five things that I want to see in this game is MMO, at least in some areas, which would mean online players in real time on the map that we could actually interact with, battle, hopefully trade. Stuff like that sounds so cool. And you know, I want to see that. Remember, the Rotom Scooter can be scrapped too. That's a good point, Nicholas. You're right. The Rotom Scooter could still change. Talking about how this speculation and like, you know, the presentation aligns with K and N being wind and wave, which is very funny to me because that was like a fan name even before that came out. So the fans guessed it. Although I think the fans said winds and wave. It was winds and wave, but it's going to be wind and waves. There's not going to be an S, apparently. This right here is official concept art. I remember seeing this when it first dropped, and I actually thought it was an actual picture of the game, but no, it's an official concept art, meaning like it's concept art, I guess, from Game Freak or something like that. This would be amazing. Now, like Central Leaks has been saying, they're too ambitious, and by ambitious, I mean they just don't push the bar. Like, it seems like they have all these cool ideas, and they don't actually reach it, so this would look amazing. Like, imagine if Gen 10 looked like this. That would be really good. Like that, these graphics look good, and I would love that. Maybe Gen 11 has this potential. I don't think Gen 9. I don't think Gen 10 has that. You can see how Charmander's little tail, the flame is glowing, which we are going to get better animations with that type of stuff. Like literally Charizard's tail is going to be a big real fire, and it's going to be so cool. The region map and name. So this is going to be based on Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Originally it was Greek, or at least we thought it was going to be based in Greece. It's not going to be. I don't think it was ever planned to be based in Greece. I think that because it was an archipelago and a bunch of islands, people kind of assumed it was going to be a Greek-based region. But there is a little bit of Australia, and I don't know if this article mentions this later, but there is a very tiny corner in the game that actually brings up Australia, and it's going to be really interesting to see like if there's real Australian. Oh my gosh, it's right here. All I had to do was scroll down a little bit, and here's the map. So here is the beta map for the game, like the actual beta map for the game, and that part right here is the Australian part. You could see that it's just a little part. I forgot what the specific area is called, but it's a special something islands. I can't remember, but what matters is that is Australia down there, and this is what the map is pretty much going to look like. It might change because this is a beta version of the map, but essentially this is what we have about the map, right? And here are all like the different real life locations that it's going to be based on, and you can kind of see like what they do is they essentially get real life locations and they kind of like spread it out and kind of like mix it up into what they want it to look like almost. So that's kind of what this is overall, and it looks cool. A lot of water, but it's okay because the islands are going to be huge. Like they're not going to be small islands. The scale of the map is going to be pretty sizable. The Tiwi Islands, yes, thank you. It's the Tiwi Islands. Thank you so much, bro. The Tiwi Islands are down here. The gimmick, the Majin gimmick, could be linked to the weather-based moves or effects. The exact mechanics remain unclear based on the available footage. We don't have any more information. This is all we have. This is what apparently the evolution gimmick is gonna look like. I can't even lie, I'm not a fan of it. However, it's subject to change. That's the thing with these leaks. Everything can change, and up until the game officially releases, like every single bit of info we have may change based on what they want to change, what they can do. So the Majin gimmick, I hope, is actually more than this, because if it's literally just like a wavy Pokemon, I don't know if anyone's gonna really like that. Like, that might be the one of the worst evolution gimmicks, so that's why I think it's more than this. And this being like, I don't know if it's alpha or beta footage right here, but either way, because it's not 100% like the finalized gameplay, my thoughts are that it's probably gonna look better and it's probably gonna change. It may still do this, but it may have like more to it. Like, there might be more animations around it. Who knows, maybe like there's gonna be clouds or rain or like, I don't know, an ocean or something like that based on the type of Pokemon it is, and you know, whatever the weather part is that they're trying to actually succeed at showing. The Rotom scooter, it's a scooter that is the vehicle for the game, which there are apparently going to be cars in this game. Apparently the professor is going to be whipping a car, which is kind of insane. But this is essentially going to follow our Pokemon just like this. How this little scooter is following the Charizard is going to be like attached with like some sort of leash or something like that, which is kind of weird to think about. But, you know, you can see there's a Lucario in front of this one, and it looks just like this. It looks cool. You can see the city. That's just one of the cities that may be the starting city of the game. You could also see some wilderness areas. So it's not just city, not just wilderness. It's going to be both. But this is what I'm talking about with the scale of the game, guys. Look at the size of these buildings. Look at the size of, well, I mean, that you can't really see much more on here, but the buildings are huge. So the city is genuinely like huge. It's very, very interesting. Like I said, I would just prefer the ride Pokemon, just like, you know, Lapras. You could hop on a Lapras is like the best example I always give. So I don't know, man. It's not terrible. I just wish it was a little more. But take a look at Charizard's tail. Can I? Oh, I can. Take a look at Charizard's tail. The fire on his tail is moving. Like, that's not like a static image. The flames will be flaming, bro. Like, they literally will be moving based on how Charizard is moving, and you know, it's gonna be pretty sick. Hopefully we get to see some animations of that soon. That'd be so dope. Okay, so for the people that are watching the video, somebody just commented that this could be a underwater effect. Maybe that's not even the battle evolution gimmick. Like, maybe that's the gimmick underwater. Maybe everywhere else it has a different form. That's a good point. That could be true. Okay, so apparently the earliest data and info about Gen 10 is 2021, which is kind of funny. Like, that's crazy. That's a long time ago. The project existed primarily as an internal analytical exercise rather than a game concept, which the document just kind of organized the ideas and stuff and like gave them the direction of like where to go, which is pretty sick. It's pretty cool. Multiple settings were evaluated before they settled on Southeast Asia. They were talking about Canada. Oh, they were talking about Greece. No way. Nordic countries. Oh my gosh. West coast of North America. We could have had that one California map become real. That would be sick. I would still love to see a Greek region and some Nordic stuff, bro. That would be so cool. A Canada region would be cool too. However, I think these would be better than Canada, but Southeast Asia is so diverse and so cool, so I'm actually really excited about that. Hopefully Gen 11 is one of these two. That would be sick though. Yo, show the card. Oh yeah, we got my Raichu. It's just, it's not like first edition or anything. It's hollow. It's cool. PSA 6, so it's nothing special. Fun fact, I only paid like, I think I might have paid 20 bucks for this, and now it's actually worth more than 20 bucks. Your boy is an investor at this point. This $20 card, I believe, is worth about 25 to 30 now. So I just got it because it's my favorite Pokemon, and I didn't really care too much about the grade, just because, you know, I just wanted it for display because I love Raichu, the GOAT. Then we had the early story drafts in July of 2021, which a lot of them were changed, which makes sense. So the core themes, an endless story, which the theme of infinity, which this is a lot to read. I don't know if I should like really read a lot of this, but I'm gonna try to like skim glaze over it because this is a lot right here, right? It's an endless cycle that began long ago and will continue far into the future. Past generations entrusting something with the present. Present lives by what was inherited or what has inherited, and it must decide what to pass on to the next generation. Wind and wave are described as invisible forces that move people forward, shaping nature, Pokemon, and history itself. That's kind of interesting. Survival is presented not as gameplay concept, but as a message, preparing the next generation to endure a harsh and unstable world. That sounds kind of crazy. That sounds like almost apocalyptic in a way, which is interesting. Maybe that's where they got the motivation and inspiration for Pokeopia, because that's a post-apocalyptic world, I think, right? The region is chosen for multiple reasons. Its island geography, suitability for exploration. It's exploration heavy. They're focusing on exploration for this game, which is, it's really good. That's good news to me, because I think what Pokemon games have been missing recently is a little bit of that exploration vibe, like the exploration feeling. Like, I don't know, like Gen 9 was fun to explore, but everything was just kind of empty. Legend ZA, there's just not really much to explore because it's all in the city, even though I did love ZA. I think ZA was great. Definitely one of the best Switch Pokemon games. But, you know, it's no secret that we needed a little bit more to explore, at least in my opinion. Travel, procedural variation, jungles, weather, wind, and waves are highlighted as major expressive and mechanical elements, reinforcing the idea of unseen natural forces shaping the world, which makes me think about the Legendaries, because the Legendaries are typically based on like the name of the game, right? So wind and wave, it sounds like they're like an invisible force. So what exactly will the Legendaries look like? I can't wait to see that. We might actually see that for the reveal. I'm wondering if they'll show us the Legendaries for the announcement of the game. Too much water review coming back, literally 100%. That's coming back from IGN. The main character is 13 years old, living in a city, which we are starting off in the city. That's where the game starts, which is pretty sick. Opting instead to begin in a modern city to create contrast. They travel with their mother, a working parent who wins a long-term vacation through the lottery, and a baby sibling who serves as a symbolic representation of the future generation. By the end of the story, the baby learns how to walk and speak, which is pretty cool. And then we have like the protagonist, the mother, the baby, the friend. I won't read all this to bore you guys, but if you guys want to pause and read all of this or take a screenshot or whatever, we can see the hotel chairsman, the heir, the professor, age 21. What? I thought the leaked photo of the professor looks like he's old. Let's see if I can find it in here. This is the professor, I thought. This contrasts with the 2021 pitch was envisioned as a young researcher, while the only elderly authority figure was the hotel chairsman. Interesting. So this is what I'm talking about, how things can change. Maybe it's going to be an older, wiser professor. It seems like originally it's supposed to be a young professor. I like the older. It would just make more sense to be an older professor, because a 20-year-old professor won't know nearly as much as this fool with one eyebrow. You know what I'm saying? He looks really cool though. I actually really messing with his design. I think that's really cool, and I definitely like it. So with that being said, all of these people can change. Like their stories and their background can change. I'm sure most of us gonna stay. Like we're obviously still gonna have a mother in the game, or you know, some sort of parental figure. We're gonna have a protagonist. We'll still have probably a baby sibling. That just kind of seems like it makes sense and still follows with the storyline. We're still gonna have the friend, probably a hotel chairsman still. The baby is the final boss of the game. That's crazy. The seed Pokemon. Okay, this is different from Pokemon Seed, the game. This is a different thing. This is a specific Pokemon in Generation 10, and it seems like an ambitious idea. So it's a single Pokemon, like it's a one-off Pokemon for everybody's game that is designed to act and like differently for everyone's game. It's going to be a different design. So there's no fixed final form, meaning the appearance of this Pokemon is going to change based on everybody's game, like based on what you do in the game, all these random things, the bond you have with this Pokemon. At least that's what it seems like. The player encounters the Pokemon Seed early in the resort area. While considered rare, no one has ever witnessed its evolution. According to legend, it only begins to evolve when brought near the islands inhabited by the Storm, Wind and Wave legendary Pokemon. Oh, so that's when we'll meet the legendary Pokemon, I guess, early on, right? Or I don't know. Interesting. I wonder when we'll meet the Legendaries, because Gen 9 we met the Legendaries like right away, pretty much. So with its final form determined by how it's raised and guided, which is kind of cool. So I don't know if this is going to be a Pokemon that we have to have on our team, or if it's like an extra Pokemon, like how we were able to have like Cordon and Miraidon on our team and 6 Pokemon, you know what I mean? Well, technically not on our team, but like we had it to be able to use, if that makes sense. So I'm hoping it's like that. I think it will be. It's not a creature, but a system. Its growth directly affects the world itself. Interesting. It procedurally shapes islands, environments, and ecosystems. It's a progression gate, unlocking access to key locations. This is a picture. Let me Google translate this, because I don't know what any of this means. Let's see. Whip out the phone, whip out Google. Okay, so everything that is on this picture is basically what we just said. I can show you guys. You can kind of see that. I don't know if my camera's gonna like focus on it, but yeah, you can see that's basically what we just read, which is pretty interesting. Here are some things about the legendary Pokemon. The script clearly defines 2 packages of Pokemon, which means, you know, like Scarlet and Violet, you know, Wind and Wave. There's 2 different legendaries, right? Or the box legendaries, at least. We have Storm, Wind, and Wave. It's an Elder Guardian figure residing on an isolated storm-covered island. It guides humans and Pokemon through the power of wind and accept those who only have properly raised the seed Pokemon. And the other one is the Wave/Water legendary, which is essentially the same thing, but, you know, for like water, which is cool. I think that's pretty dope. I'm a fan of that. I think that's really cool. So it seems like we won't be able to obtain the legendaries until probably late of the game, but we will definitely see them early on, it seems like. They're not portrayed as traditional villains or mandatory bosses. Instead, they act as a moral and narrative gatekeepers, embodying the invisible forces that connect human, Pokemon, and nature. How cool! See, what I think is so cool about Gen 10 so far is it seems like very intentional with everything about all the Pokemon, all like the reasoning behind wind and wave. So everything about this game seemingly is gonna be pretty cool. At least I'm kind of thinking that right now. I think it's gonna be a pretty cool region and a pretty cool game. So the antagonist and central conflict. So the overall, I guess, conflict is about like land development. The organization destroy natural environments, provoke Pokemon into rampages, and use the public to fear and justify further development. So I guess that's kind of going to be like one of the main conflicts. Obviously, if you want to like read the very ultra specifics, it's all right here. You could pause and read it if you want. And the gameplay is heavily based on adventures. We have traditional gyms. Get out of here, Nintendo. I haven't talked, dude. I don't think I've ever talked about the conflict of the game. I don't think I've ever even talked about this. I've talked a little about the legendary Pokemon a long time ago. I haven't talked about this. All this stuff is like pretty fresh to me because I haven't really been focusing on this stuff. What if we get a koala starter? That would be dope. My voice is quiet. Are you serious? Oh no. No, it's not. It's not. This is perfect. The audio is perfect. Guys, Nintendo needs to get out of here. He's a troll. So yeah, traditional gyms, and then apparently we're gonna have like raids, rescue missions, so many different activities. And I hope some like these raids, you get to play some with people like MMO style. There's 18 milestone adventures, which I don't know if that could be the gym. A lot of people said that we'll have 18 gyms, I guess. At Nintendo, that's your problem. Hey, let's go. Nintendo, it's your fault, bro. You're the reason why the audio is terrible. Yeah, so a lot of adventures in this game. And the Legendary Islands procedural world. So we'll have like Legendary Islands where the legendary Pokemon will be. One will be a massive cloud and the other one is going to be something with like the water and the ocean. And apparently there's procedural generation here, which means every island may look different for everyone's game. Although I have heard leaks and rumors about that changing. I've heard that could potentially actually change in the future. The ending of the post-game concept. So apparently there is a version of the game where we don't really have like a true ending. A lot of people think that there could also be different endings, like multiple endings. I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. That's kind of, I still think, up in the air. Like, I don't think that's something we'll definitely 100% know until either really close to the game's release or, I don't know, maybe sometime soon. But I think the post-game, end-game stuff is going to probably change, right? Early test builds in 2023, which is pretty cool. So I kind of covered that already with the, Gaia K and Gaia N. We had the first internal Gaia ROM in 2023, December, which here's what it kind of originally was looking like. So obviously this is like early builds of the game. The game is not going to look like this. It's just very baseline, borderline, whatever. Just the underlying structure of what it could potentially look like when it's officially revealed and released, right? It's very cool to see, though. You can see the size of the city. The city is pretty large. That's just a small part of the map. The map of this game is literally going to be huge. Here we have something that reminds me heavily of Legends Arceus, if you know what I'm talking about. However, it seems like we will have a huge central volcano. I don't know if this is specifically what that is, but this could just be like a test kind of island. Early versions of Pokemon-based mobility and traversal, other, foundation mechanics, blah, 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 whatever. So like this may be in the game, or it could just be like a little area just so the developers can test, test the game, test everything out, the mechanic. And here's from early 2024, a number of small leak screenshots. These builds remain highly experimental and seem primarily focused on the technical and rendering tests rather than like actual gameplay. So with this picture, I don't know if all these Pokemon will officially be in the game, but I think that's pretty cool because look how many Pokemon we have here. They're all lined up. I'm assuming just for like the size of the Pokemon, but we can say like Shinx, Riolu, we have Pikachu. Is that Snom? I think that's Snom. Yeah, Ekans, which means Arbok would be in the game. We have Gyarados, looks like Moltres. I don't know if they're all going to actually be in the game still, but could just be a test. Right here we have shiny Charizards out the wazoo, bro. Out the wazoo. And look at the tails. We also got a shiny Lucario there, but the tails you can see really cool with the flame effects. This is what like the attack menu looks like apparently. So it's gonna be a little bit different. I like that a lot. Looks pretty cool, looks fluid. And we got Pikachu versus 15 shiny level 1 Charizards. Makes a lot of sense to me, right? Here we have a leaked image of, what's this Pokemon? Mudsdale? I always forget that Pokemon's name, which we got a couple months ago and people thought it was fake. Apparently it's real. like I said, the game is going to look better than this. This is not like an actual like real version of the game. It's all for testing and stuff, so it will look better. You can see the Poke Center is outside once again. The map is going to be huge. And then here's the underwater Luminion picture. I'm hoping I'm able to show this. Hopefully nothing happens, because I got in trouble with Nintendo once. Hopefully I could show these pictures, but I'm doing it anyways for you guys. Here's another picture right here with Charizard. Pretty cool. This is kind of more of where like that Xenoblade Chronicles X vibe comes in, where it's like the foresty, kind of like darker. Obviously it's gonna look better. I mean, maybe Game Freak would release the game looking like this though. We don't know. And then we have a bunch of hidden logs, which is pretty cool. So stuff about like automated error logs, something like that. They were not source code leaks, but rather reports produced by an internal Python tool. Okay, so interesting. I feel like I don't really have much to say about this, but I know some people will really be interested in this. So here's all like the information about that, you know, summary reports, file types, naming, asset categories. You could see all of, you know, the Majin, which is the code. I don't know if that's the code name for the gimmick or if that is literally what the gimmick is going to be called. But you can see Esper, Ghost. Oh, okay. Psychic, Ghost, Fire, Rock, Ground, Ice. Okay, so yeah, different typings for like weather. We see new entries that could indicate new boss categories. So these could be the boss Pokemon right here or something like that. Data from Scarlet and Violet, which is cool. I think that's very interesting. It says like we will have some sort of new boss Pokemon. That's not confirmed. This is observation. They made that clear. Gym assets, which like I said, this is not all confirmed, but it's just from the data, from the information. So we're just kind of like assuming what it could be. All the people, you know, leakers out there, you know, they're just kind of thinking about what this could mean. So it seems like we could have 8 gyms, 5 Titans, 5 Team Star bosses. Although I have heard people say we could have 18 gyms, and I don't know. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We have different biomes like desert, grassland, snow, volcano, wetlands. We have the capital city. We don't know what the final name is going to be like. It's just called Capital City. We have all of these little things being in like some major urgent area, probably the city. You can see the harbor. We have bridges. We have gazebos, ropeways, tree houses. A lot of this is awesome. Like seriously, the snow region right here. We have the volcanic region. Like I said, I won't read it all to bore you guys, but we have the special zone, which is very interesting. Could be a late game zone. That seems very, very cool to me though. And apparently it has a 20 million USD budget, which is a lot of which is a lot of money. However, that is not too much compared to how much they'll make from this game and how much the Pokemon company makes. They are making some crazy amount of money, and I wish they would put more into the games to make it, you know, as good as they possibly can. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like they have all these cool ideas like the ride Pokemon, but that's probably not going to happen. Hopefully it does though, but may not happen. I won't read this. Just some like engine changes talking about the game engine that it's being based on, whatever that it's being made with. Early Terra Leak info. So here's an actual conversation like about what they're trying to do with Generation 10. So like I said, again, I'm not going to read it all. If you want to pause and read this as, you know, I'm scrolling, but you could really see the cool, diverse conversation. I don't know. It's pretty sweet. I like seeing this stuff a lot. I think that's always the coolest part to see, is like the conversations, like how they come up with these games. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you want me to post more like super long, you know, edited clips of my live streams. I've been really trying to do more weekly live streams. I don't really have a specific day or a specific time at the moment. I'm just kind of doing them whenever I have the extra time. So if you don't want to miss the live streams, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications, because that way you get notified whenever I do actually go live. If you watched this far into the video and watched the whole video, comment down below plant, the word plant, to confuse those people that are not watching this far. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.